Do you believe in magic?
Stupid, I'm not gonna let you get the chance.
I used to huff this stuff for kicks.
Okay, time to learn Zatanna. Let's check out her move list. What am I looking at? Zatanna casts her spells by speaking in reverse, but thankfully her attacks are even more confusing for the opponent. In fact, I consider Zatanna to be the most confusing character that NetherRealm has ever created. So without any further ado, let's get started. But first, so once again, just like Enchantress, I wasn't sure where to begin because there's so much to talk about with this character. So let's go ahead and start off with the simple mix-up. So Zatanna had a 50-50 meterless combo starter. She had an overhead and she had a low, and the timing on these moves was pretty much the exact same. So go over to the move list. As you can see, the low attack starts up in 20 frames and the overhead starts up in 23 frames, or in other words, fuzzy guarding is impossible here. Now since they are pretty slow offline at a tournament, it wouldn't be that tough to react to them, but keep in mind this game did not have the best online, so in a bad connection these were very tough to block. And then if either one of these mix-ups hits you, you're gonna lose about a quarter of your health. So already we have a 50-50 character who can start combos without meter. However, there's still one more mix-up to deal with because Zatanna has certain strings that hit low at one point or another, and whenever they hit low, she can replace it with a meter burn projectile which hits overhead. Now it won't lead to a full combo, but just imagine you're low on health and you gotta deal with one 50-50 followed by a second 50-50. And then even if you do block correctly, this meter burn projectile is +9 on block, so more pressure even though you guessed correctly. But that's just the basic mix-ups. Now on to the real deal. So Zatanna could levitate. So if you blocked her overhead cross-up, she could then levitate and go for a second overhead. But just to make things even crazier, if Zatanna landed her jumping 2 as a cross-up at the exact right position, she would actually knock you under her when she levitated. Or in other words, Zatanna could land her cross-up and then levitate and go for a second cross-up on the way down, which is already sneaky by itself. But when used mid-combo as a reset, this trick was extra dirty.
Oh god, is that a cross-up?
Yes, it was.
Okay.
And Zatanna had setups like this on pretty much all of her jump-ins because a lot of them crossed up. Jumping 1 could cross up, jumping 2 could cross up, and jumping 3 especially could cross up. Or put simply, every one of these jump-ins can lead to a setup with her levitate, and if done fast enough, they actually combo into themselves on hit. So you can do a jump-in, levitate, and then a second jump-in, and it all combos as long as you're fast enough. And next up, let's talk about Zatanna's dive kick. I'm not even sure why she has one because she doesn't need it, but hey, she's got a dive kick. And unlike Kung Lao in Mortal Kombat 11, this dive kick hits overhead. So already that's one extra mix-up on top of your jump-in. You could do a jump-in low, or you could do a jump-in dive kick. So it's overhead low, or it's overhead overhead. In fact, you could even do a levitation combo for a triple overhead. So jump, levitate, jump, dive kick. And that's 3 different overheads in the same jump. However, what made this dive kick extra deadly is you could do it instantly off the ground. And the dive kick itself is only 6 frames. So that's a very, very fast overhead, which is why you see raw dive kick quite a lot at a high level. This thing is just impossible to react to. And just to make it even crazier, if you spin the bar, she recovers really fast to extend combos. Or in other words, at any point during the match, Zatanna could just go for a really fast overhead to start combos. So this mix-up was just one more weapon in Zatanna's arsenal. It was also good for ending combos too. Its damage was very decent. And next up, let's talk about Zatanna's Fire Kiss. So by itself, not too crazy, it's just a fun looking special move. However, when meter burn, it becomes a Dalsum style fireball. And if you hold back when you do it, it's a bit slower, and then if you hold forward, it travels a bit faster, and depending on how fast your opponent's walk speed was, you wanted to switch it up between these different fireballs. However, what makes this fireball extra dirty is that Injustice does not have a block button. You have to hold back, and if I teleport to switch sides, suddenly you're blocking the wrong direction. And you might think, well, I'll just hold straight down, because that actually blocks in both directions in this game, and you would be right. But here's the thing, Zatanna can actually teleport during levitate and switch sides with an overhead. Or in other words, she can use the fireball, then levitate to switch sides from the air for an overhead, and you have to stand up. And that's where the mind games begin, because Zatanna doesn't have to teleport behind you. She can teleport in front of you instead, and now you're blocking the wrong way because you expected a cross up. And then of course there's the classic throw mix-up. She could dash forward, throw you, and now the fireball is guaranteed to land. So next, let's talk about one of my favorite mix-ups, the Smoke and Mirrors ability. So you actually don't know which clone I am, but I as Zatanna can actually control which one I become. So right there, that was a cross-up. How about now? Is this the cross-up? Nope, because I was the back one that time. If you do the input by itself, Zatanna becomes the middle clone. If you hold forward afterwards, she becomes the front clone. And then if you hold back, she becomes the last clone. And as you might imagine, this made Zatanna's cross-ups nearly impossible to block. Now thankfully this ability does go away even if the opponent blocks Zatanna's attack, so you can't go for a sneaky double mix-up, or at least not while keeping the clones out. So in that one regard, NetherRealm had mercy with this character. But then we had the Puppet Master, so this in my opinion might be one of the cruelest special moves that NetherRealm has ever created. So by default, this move tracks the opponent's location. Already that's pretty strong, and to make it even better, it hits the opponent even if they're a bit close to the ground, so it's great for ending combos with a restand, which means no wake up for the opponent. However, on top of all of that, just to make this move even dirtier, it also inverts the inputs of the opponent. So just to give you an idea of what that looks like, I'm gonna go ahead and take control of Harley Quinn real quick. Alright Zatanna, do it. Go ahead and trick me. So look at this, I'm holding forward, but I'm moving backwards. Now the effect doesn't last very long, but just imagine you're hit by the trance and then she goes for an overhead. If you want to block that overhead, you now have to hold towards the opponent just to deal with it. And now imagine Zatanna goes for a low. If you press down, you're going to jump, so you have to hold up if you want to block her low attack. And this effect applies to your attacks as well, so when I press 1, I'm now not getting 1, I'm actually getting 3. So even though the effect only lasts for a brief period, your attacks are completely jumbled and your movements are reversed, so it's even tougher to block Zatanna, who already has a bunch of mix-ups. So just imagine for a second you're fighting Zatanna, she gets you cornered and then goes for the trance and then goes for an overhead low. Did you block that? Because that required you to walk forward and then hold up to jump, which of course is not easy at all. And that's why at a high level, most pros wouldn't even deal with it. They would just block the first hit and then spin their bar on a block escape. Because blocking one mix-up is enough. You do not want to deal with all the rest that comes after, especially when it means a full combo by a character like Zatanna who doesn't need meter to keep the combo going. However, this special move is not done being ridiculous, because if you meter burn it, it becomes Quan Chi's trance. It extends combos and brings the opponent stumbling towards you. And this gives Zatanna a couple of options. The most obvious one is to end the combo with the trance, spin the bar, and then just keep it going for a bit more damage. However, that's actually thinking small, because what you want to do instead is use the trance and then spin the bar to go for an extra dirty reset afterwards. Because don't forget, Zatanna has some really deadly double cross-ups. And in fact, this trance lasts for so long that you can even do smoke and mirrors to make your cross-up even tougher to block.
Reset. Yep.
Now the thing is, this trance lasts for a very long time, so timing your cross-up reset correctly is easier said than done, and that's why a lot of top players would actually teleport or whiff a down 1, anything to get their timing more consistent. And doing those moves back to back would actually ensure their cross-up timing was perfect every time. So as you can see, Zatanna's mix-ups are just really difficult to deal with. She is by far one of the most confusing characters that NetherRealm has ever made. And keep in mind, her combo damage is decent as well, so if you guessed wrong on any of these mix-ups, you are guaranteed to lose about a third of your health bar. And sometimes that didn't even cost her any meter. Or in other words, Zatanna could land one of these 50-50s and then restand you, and then switch your inputs before going for a sneaky mix-up of some kind. I'm not exaggerating when I tell you this character was ridiculous in the hands of a skilled player. Now to be fair, these mix-ups are not easy to pull off, but even so, I do stand by my statement when I say this character was the most confusing one that NetherRealm has ever made. But please let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. What do you think about Zatanna? And while you're down there, please leave a like if you enjoyed the video. It really does help my channel out a ton. And finally, why not keep that combo going by suplexing that subscribe button? That way you never miss a future video. Make sure to come back next time, and as always, stay underdogs.